Does Jay-Z still go by Hova? I think so, right? That might be corny, but I know that's his nickname, one of his monikers. Jay-Z criticized, though, today for pushing Trumpers' private school plan. I can't wait to get into this one. Comes to us per The Root. Over the weekend, it was announced that Jay-Z and Roc Nation will lead an educational campaign in Philadelphia to help K through 12 students from low-income households secure $300 million in scholarships for private schools. On Monday, Roc Nation hosted the first event in the Dine and Learn series, which will continue over the next 2 weeks, according to Pennsylvania Capital Star. I don't understand the hat. I don't understand a lot of his style choices, but then, what do I know? And yes, it's off topic, but I mean, look, come on.
With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show.
What Jay-Z, Roc Nation will be doing is providing their influence and power to host a handful of events in the city to inform residents about the Pennsylvania Award for Student Success, PASS. Republican-backed bill, school voucher program, seeks to obtain $300 million in taxpayer dollars in order to fund private and charter schools. Now, The Root notes that where the water gets murkier, is that the proposal is also backed by billionaire conservative Trump backer, Philly native Jeff Yass. Okay. Who has notoriously pushed his school choice and his anti-public school agenda for some time now. Yass's involvement, other Republicans backing this voucher program under Senate Bill 757, which many critics have been calling out for its implicit goal to take resources away from public schools and instead divert them and deplete an already underdeveloped statewide school system. It led many online to wonder why someone like Jay-Z would want to get involved in this. Roc Nation CEO Desiree Perez stated in an interview with Huffington Post that read in part, Roc Nation is not backing any particular bill or political party. What we are backing is education. We're not forcing people to sign anything. We're just educating them, which I would think everyone wants people to make informed decisions. We care about the children, and the only thing that I don't see anywhere is anyone talking about the kids. People are talking about the public school system and how important it is, which I agree. I hear all about the budget, government, parties, and bills, but no one's talking about the children. Makes a point. The kids in these zip codes are suffering right now, she later added. You have a better solution aside from making students wait until the public school system can get it together with the funding they are receiving. I'm all ears. Perez does, as we said, have a point. As of February 2023, the Pennsylvania Commonwealth Court ruled that the state's school funding system was unconstitutional and that it must be reformed. However, residents and other critics of Senate Bill 757 don't think this school voucher program is the way to go about it. Acclaimed writer Nicole Hannah-Jones wrote on X, Twitter, once the news broke, read the fine print. This is a government voucher program. Voucher programs have not been shown to improve results for poor Black children because most cannot get into high-quality private schools. Okay. And you see what she put up there. I'll read the first sentence. I really wish rich, out-of-touch folks who know nothing about education would just stop. She's a powerful voice. She continued, read the fine print. All the money is coming from taxpayers, i.e. the government. Roc Nation is not funding this. It's just launching an educational campaign that maybe it is being paid to do. Good guess. I'm researching, but certainly its involvement is to convince poor Black parents to leave the public schools. What do you think that $300 million could do for improving those low-performing public schools? Number 4, it is a lie that these programs do not take from public school funding. Fewer kids in the classroom means fewer dollars to the school. This is a windfall to the city's private schools at the expense of the public ones that most kids attend. Music veteran, award-winning film director Carly Hustle echoed similar sentiments. The low-performing public schools that they are pulling kids from to send to private schools could use these resources. But let me not scream into the void. The rich have divested from the concept of a fair and equitable education for all. Also wasn't done. Adding in a follow-up tweet, whether Jay-Z or the upper middle class family on the block, if you have resources and don't allocate them to local public schools, you are making a moral and political choice. Taking children out of public schools in favor of private is precisely what hurts the most vulnerable. Well, I want to start backwards. Do you think it is the responsibility? Let's just talk about Jay-Z, the parent. I'm a parent too. I've had to make this choice. Should the argument be palatable for people that, look, if you leave even a broken public school system, it's only going to further damage it. It is only going to further damage those who can't go with you to a private school. What are your thoughts about that?
Just full disclosure for the audience, I'm a New York City native. Jay-Z's probably my favorite rapper of all time. However, as the years and the days go by, I become more and more disillusioned by the guy's politics, literally by the day. So if you listen to Jay-Z's music, it's very bootstrappy, pick yourself up by the bootstrap, arch capitalist, opportunistic. It's very much in that mold. And I think from a Jay-Z perspective, who is not gonna take a holistic perspective, is just, okay, when I grew up in the projects, our public schools were crap. If somebody could have paid for me to go to a private school, that would have been excellent. What is not talked about, and I think Nicole Hannah-Jones was getting at, is people like Yas, their wet dream for years is a neoliberal one where we privatize the hell out of everything, meaning there are no public goods. What we do is we take taxpayer dollars, and how does it work? We take taxpayer dollars, and instead of funding a public school, no, we take that tax money and we enrich some private actor to operate schools. That's their grand scheme. And mind you, these are the same people that would say anytime a citizen got a check from the government, it was welfare, it was nasty, it was too big a government, you're lazy, you're this. But somehow, when private business entities get checks from the government, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Privatization is this great thing, and literally all it is a wealth transfer of our tax dollars to these private business entities. That's what these people want to do. I think the Jay-Z entity, I don't want to say he's a pawn, but I think it's easy to convince him, like, yo, we're gonna get the government to give 300 million bucks to lower income black people so that they could go to these private schools. Jay-Z's like, look, these kids get to go to better schools, that's great. But it doesn't speak to the fact that, yo, what if we actually funded our public institutions? What if we didn't do stupid stuff by like finding the funding for public schools via property taxes, meaning the richer the freaking neighborhood, the better the public schools, thereby making a tiered system, basically in a goddamn apartheid system of a public school system in this country. Now, look, Jay-Z, let's face it, man. Yes, he may be black, but he's an elite. His interests don't align with the average everyday American. He does not need public utilities. He can pay for the gold-plated version of any public utility that exists. Transportation, education, housing, you name it. Whatever the public utility, Jay-Z can get the gold or platinum-plated version of it. So he's out of the system. He doesn't care. It doesn't matter what public schools look like to a guy like Jay-Z. Yes, even though he's black, right? Like these prominent rich people, that's like they do what aligns with their class interests. And that's why the last thing I would say is whenever people are online crying for celebrities to lend a voice, to lend a hand to this cause or that cause, be careful what you wish for. These people's goals don't always align with ours. And I think this Jay-Z thing is just the latest example of that.
I tend to agree with you. I'm just jotting down a few things. I'll start with, I think, your first point, the pipeline to private money. And if you set this up, boy, it's a get rich quick. There are some good schools that receive some. I know of one here that gets some state money in Georgia, and it's a wonderful school because it has wonderful people behind it. But we've seen the stories over the years about how the kids weren't any better, kind of Hannah Jones's point. And instead, the money was diverted to greedy people. And some of these schools went under as quickly as they were founded. So there's that. I have the right, but I shouldn't question Jay-Z's motivation, but I suspect it's not all altruistic, okay? Just like becoming an NFL owner and making statements about us being, we're beyond kneeling. Speak for yourself, okay? And I kind of can say, oh, suddenly you're given this platform and you do the halftime show and you're gonna be an owner and all this other stuff, and you're telling us we shouldn't be kneeling. Okay, Hova, okay? If you say so. I also think you're right about billionaires who don't give a damn about black and brown or poor kids until there's something in it for them. That's true. We don't see them fighting on other fronts unless it's going to enrich themselves and their friends, and they can set up a new system and shut it down. Shut down these public services. You're right. But I do pause because there is the teachers union. And I'm really not even allowed to say this because I'm the daughter of a principal and a teacher. Okay, my mom was a teacher and she would fight for public schools. She was a good teacher, well regarded, requested, all these things. You have the teachers union though, Wills, that is so powerful. And they're telling us these stories about, hey, you got to keep your kids in the kids. I want the best for my kid. And I don't want her to be a political pawn for either side. And so I do think it's dangerous to continue to tell moms and dads, parents like me, oh, you got to keep her in a broken system or it's just going to break down further. Why don't you fix the system? And why don't you change the rules? Okay. Why wouldn't you collect all the money throughout the country? Or let's just start with the state. I know some states are poorer than others, Mississippi, Louisiana, and divide it equally. So every school has a chance to be terrific. There's a public school near here, where I live, that is so incredible. You would think it were private. The resources, the think tanks, the every latest bell and whistle. But you go a few miles away, maybe a few blocks in some cases, and good luck with a textbook that even has all the pages. I'll give you the last word. I don't know that I want to hear from celebrities. I want to hear from experts on this. And if you are a celebrity who is an expert, great, bring it on. But don't tell me what to do. Where do your kids go to school, okay?
I think to your point, there are so many failing schools. And if you're a parent of a child who is district or zoned for a school and a system that is obviously failing, this idea that, parents should be browbeat into putting their kids into a failing system is completely ludicrous. I think public schools should be federally funded. I don't believe in this nonsense about property taxes funding the schools. I think the federal government is rich enough that an education allegedly is important enough that it should be funded. And I think, some people will say, well, guess what, Woz? When we do that, even still in the richer neighborhoods, those parents, they're gonna fundraise the hell out of it. They're gonna get their rich friends and their companies and whatever to donate this and donate that and blah, blah, blah. And those rich kids will still get a leg up. And I think that's fine. But we should not have a single decrepit school, public school, when we claim to put a premium on education in the richest country that God has ever known. I'm sorry, we have to be doing better than that.
You're right. I can't think of a better way to put it. So that'll be the last word on this one until Hoba says something else. And I can't wait till they find out was he paid or whatnot. Not. Listen, consultants deserve to be paid, entertainers, whatever, representing. It's not my point. It's just when we are Black people, we've been hoodwinked enough. And I just want you to shoot straight with me. And I need to know that you're all the way there and money doesn't have anything to do with it.